There's a multitude of reasons as to why things are delayed in your life or held back or kept from you, or why you keep hitting your head against the wall because you're trying so hard to get something done and it just doesn't seem to be working out. That's because the universe is trying to keep you from ruining your life, because it isn't you that wants these things, the soul, the higher self, it's the mind. And God knows that the mind is always going to not only get you into trouble, but keep you there. So therefore, you have to understand the things that you think that you want and you desire and that you are entitled to, that you deserve. You have to really get curious as to the root cause of where that is coming from. Really just dissect it and analyze it and research, do your exploration and your study, and ask yourself, what is it that I want? Why do I want it so badly? Why do I have to have this thing in my life at any and all costs? Because the universe is obviously keeping you from it for a reason. I'm speaking from experience. I've been through some pretty heavy duty stuff in the last couple of years. I'm not going to get into the personals, but I'm telling you straight truth from my heart to yours, is as plain as day. I put my everything into these things: time, attention, effort, energy, money, everything, focus, everything. I did everything I possibly could, and it was just coming up empty every time. And then finally, the universe said, that's because you're fighting against somebody else's destiny, first off. And secondly, it's the way you approach it that determines the direction of that particular type of experience reaching a fruition to an outcome. Like, in other words, if you want to win at any and all costs, that's a very competitive attitude, which is the ego, which is the darkness, which is low vibrational negativity. So you've already assigned this experience a negative signature, a negative energy. That has now become the intrinsic value of that vibrational experience. And you have to understand that when you approach something with a wave of negativity, the universe is going to try to save you from yourself. That's what they call universal intervention. Um, so when these promises are delayed and things don't just come to you, that's because the universe knows that it is the mind that is the nucleus of this, driving force. We want it. We don't care what it is. It looks pretty. It's brand new. It's shiny. We want it. That kind of thing. Because what you want is not necessarily good for you. What you need is always what you require, which is always good for you. What you want is what you desire. You have to be able to differentiate between the two. Rejection is protection. It is. Rejection is protection. You rejected from whatever, a job, or maybe somebody you want to hook up with or whatever, and it didn't work out. It didn't work out because if you actually would have made a connection to that person, to that job, it would have been a cataclysmic disaster for you. And the universe is attempting to save you from yourself. So don't see it as the world against you, or, God has got it out for you or something like that. Nothing is happening to you. That's the victim mentality. That's the ego. What you want to obviously perceive this to be is everything is happening for your benefit, whether you realize it or not. You just have to get over yourself and stop acting like a child and having a penny Annie temper tantrum like a little kid that didn't get their way, because that's the ego. So rejections and, delayed promises are also teaching you, that you don't have the patience, you don't have the faith, the trust, the hope, the belief that you need. You don't have the character build up yet in order for you to fit that slot, vibrationally speaking. There's a multitude of reasons why these things are being delayed or blocked or kept from you or held back. Trust me. It's also teaching you to stop trying to, control the outcome of things. Everything is a lesson. Everything is a blessing. Everything is a gift. Everything is an offering. Everything is a treasure from God. There are no curses or hassles or obstacles or complications or delays, as far as God is concerned, because you're being kept in that dormancy period, that like plateau period, to grow, because you want to just get to the finish line. Let's do it now. I don't care. The universe is like, mm-mm. Because if you run right to the finish line, then you don't have the necessary accumulated experiences in order for you to be fully qualified for you to be standing where you're standing. You know what I mean? So that's exactly what's going on. You have to have the experience. You're running a race to the finish line and you're a novice. By the time you get to the finish line, you don't know what's going on. If you walk and you start picking up knowledge, information, wisdom, awareness, instructions, guidance, direction, support, learning to let go of things. You don't have to be right all the time. Learning how to be high vibrational. Learning not to allow negative situations to affect you. These types of things. You got to accumulate this stuff. These are additives and modifiers to your character. They allow your character to be expanded, and grow, just like your perceptive lens. because God sees in you what you fail to see in yourself, but also the opposite. What you see in yourself, as being something that it's not, God sees the truth. Like, in other words, if you think you're such a great person, I've got it all worked out, I don't have to do anything, I know everything already, my life is perfect. God's like, it ain't gonna work, man, because you're gonna wind up going to a place that's really amazing, but you're gonna be bringing all that old stuff with you. So that's why the universe is like, yo, you gotta stop, you gotta look inside yourself, and you gotta get rid of the things that you're carrying that you think are so great, but they're not. They're packaged as being these beautiful treasures, but you haven't even opened the box because it's a ticking time bomb in there. And that's how the Matrix rolls. Trojan horse. You know, look up, the Trojan horse, Greek mythology, man. It's true. It's absolutely true. You open up that's why you have Trojan viruses on your computer, because they pretend to be something kind. And when you click on it, boom, then once they're in, they're in. That's exactly what you're carrying. Now imagine if you get to your desired reality and you're carrying a Trojan horse or a whole bunch of them. And as soon as you get there, those bombs go off and it will just decimate your brand new desired reality. Your dreams will just be laid to waste. And God is trying to prevent you from doing that. Because if that were to happen, God forbid, you would be absolutely freaking devastated and PO'd beyond all recognition. Trust me. Big time. So the delayed promises and things that are being held back from you, kept from you, or rejections or whatever it is, it's all happening for your benefit. You just have to see it that way, because that's really the way it is. It took me a freaking long time to get that portion of the journey. And sometimes it still creeps up because you do so much freaking work and you use so much effort and time and attention. You pour your everything into these things. You give it your all. And just like it peters out to nothing. So it's like all of your everything it meant less than nothing, it's discouraging, and it just makes you feel violated and disgusted. It's just like you don't even want to be a part of it. But then the ego kicks in and says, forget this. Let's go back to the clubhouse, the Matrix, and let's just hang out there because, we can just have instant gratification. We don't need this manifestation from spirit. It's garbage. Can't see it anyway. It doesn't exist. Remember, seeing is believing. Remember, it's all garbage, man. It's all nonsense. They want you to get discouraged. Why do you think the law of attraction is so prevalent? Because it's a bunch of garbage. The law of distraction, that's what it should be called. It's nonsense. Vision boards, what a waste of time. Vision boards are the worst because you're affirming what you don't have and you're feeding into the lack, loss, and absence mentality. And fear controls everything. Ego is fear, fear is ego, and that's the nucleus of what's controlling you. So, to conclude this video, I just want to say, have patience, trust, faith, hope, and belief in yourself and the universe in the process. But more so, don't feel like you're being victimized, because you're not. And I've found myself there one too many times, man. Absolutely. You got to keep reminding yourself to stop allowing your mind to ruin your life, because if you allow the mind to take control, it's going to freaking head you down a dead end road every time. And you're always going to be absolutely frustrated and disgusted. Have a blessed day.